long day. Um, we are Robotics Connect, and we are part of the Craft Academy for Excellence in Science and Mathematics. My name is Joe. Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. My name is Jonah.
My name is Nate.
My name's Ryan.
My name is Olivia.
And I'm Caden.
And this is our robot shredder.
So we have a problem that we want to address with FTC, which my friend Jonah here will explain in a minute. But the problem we wanted to address was fostering STEM in Kentucky, and that has been a problem for a while due to three main issues. First is financial constraints. Schools on average in Kentucky earn $15,000 per student per school year, compared to the national average of $17,000, which is a $2,000 decrease, which means the schools are underfunded, and so it goes to more necessary things rather than extracurricular STEM programs. The second issue is a lack of awareness and mentors. STEM jobs aren't as easily visible to students, and it also creates a lack of mentors, as not as many people know the STEM skills in order to mentor these programs. Lastly, there are socioeconomic barriers, so students are thinking more about what's on their dinner plate rather than their education.
Do these mics come off? Does anyone know? That's okay, I got it. Yeah, and speaking on more what Nate said, personally, I grew up in an extremely poor household. It was difficult to think about what I was going to be eating the next day. And whenever I was in 7th grade, I decided to join an FTC team. And whenever I joined, I loved it. It was a nice escape from the harsh reality of what I lived in. And FTC has brought extreme improvements to my life. It's really revolutionized everything. And now I'm on the FTC board of directors, where I have scholarship opportunities, and I'm going to be going to school for completely free, which is incredible because I never would have gotten that opportunity otherwise. And now that I get to go to my school for free, I can put more resources into helping others get the same opportunities that little me did.
So the first step in our solution is the educational involvement. We really want to go out to these schools. We're targeting in Eastern Kentucky, close to us at the moment within Rowan County, Carter County, and we are currently active in Wolfe County, but we would like to expand further beyond into all of Eastern Kentucky and possibly even into all of Kentucky. Going to these schools, we really want to get them interested in STEM through workshops and summer camps, we're building those connections with them, getting them building connections with each other, developing skills, letting them test out and play with our robots so they can kind of see what all goes into building a robot in general. And this really will lead to a further development and interest in future careers in STEM. Obviously, before we can even do workshops and summer camps, we first have to talk to schools and get interest just from them in general. This is through our outreach. Some of the outreach we've already done, such as Source Summit and Music on the Green. Both of these were fantastic opportunities, and we really enjoyed doing them. Source Summit was a great way to go out and professionally present Ecip and our robotics. It was a fantastic time meeting a whole bunch of people, both teachers, students, and businesses alike that were interested in what we had to say about our Robotics Connect. And we exchanged contact information with a couple of schools to possibly get in touch with them, and also getting in touch with a few businesses that possibly could help fund and bring funding to some of these programs. Music on the Green was another great time. It's actually started up by HGA, which you'll be hearing from them in just a moment. This was a fantastic opportunity. It was our first time going out to Wolfe County specifically. It allowed us to talk to some students and parents specifically that were attending Music on the Green. Through that, we really found that there was an interest for robotics specifically in Wolfe County, which then led us recently to reaching out and starting a program out there.
So along with educational involvement, we also need to establish FDC in schools. First way we can do this is by providing starter kits and technology. This takes away the stress of having to source multiple components and lets kids dive straight into building. After that, we need to organize after-school programs and clubs. Having a safe space where students can begin building hands-on, they can get that teamwork and that communication skills. And then we need to facilitate inter-school competitions. Students can meet other students, show off what they've done during the season, and they can meet mentors that can teach them about future STEM careers. One way we've already done this is working with Wolf County Robotics at their high school. After Music on the Green, like Caden said, we contacted their principal. We got mentors for them. We recruited students. Back in November, we went to the high school and talked to a lot of students. It was really inspiring to meet them. We organized an after-school club in January. We're going to go for 4 to 5 weeks and help them out during the school week so that they can get ready for state competition. And we also got them their starter kit through the FTC Rookie Fund. So we got them that grant too.
Take the mic off again. So now we're going to talk about the expenditures, which is my forte. Now, this slide sucks, and I'll tell you why. If you can't see it, it's $5,000 to $8,000 to start an FTC team, which is a lot of money. Could you imagine just like handing someone $5,000? I can't. So between registration, the kit, and materials, as well as event fees and our big hitter of transportation, depending on which events you attend, it gets up to about, like we said, $5,000 to $8,000. Now this is the good slide. So we have found ways to get this money. So because of my position on the first student board of directors, I've been talking with the director and vice director about getting grants. So we have actually secured full funding for the Wolf County team through FIRST alone. And we also have plans to contact the Kentucky Department of Education for grants, as well as Partners for Rural Impact. And then we are going to talk to these teams about sponsorships for long-term goals and the upkeep of their team. And then we're going to talk to them about fundraising and crowdfunding. So essentially, our business model is being a financial liaison for these teams. So we are finding them money and information and mentors, and we are delivering it to them. And this is a quick video of our website. So this is our homepage. We have our mission statement and our contact information. And then we have our funding page where we have key funding contacts that we recommend to contact, grants, and other sponsorships. And then going back to the top, we have our resources page, which is how to start a team. And we have plenty of links so no newcomers get lost in all of the paperwork. And then we have an FAQ section with a fully functional discussion board, as well as common questions.
So the projected outcome of our outreach in robotics is an increased student engagement in STEM. This is really, really important because STEM allows students to develop critical skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and teamwork skills, among many, many more. Also, when students are involved in STEM programs in their school, they're more likely to go out and seek a career that's based in STEM. And actually, on average, STEM careers make about 117% more than other non-STEM careers. This is really important for strengthening their local economy. And this is really important because they're usually from low socioeconomic places. And as more of these programs get installed in these schools and more people are engaged, it will allow schools to go and they'll get more more programs will be installed, more people will get involved, and more of this money is generated. It will help the economy more, and it's all very important for getting people involved.
And this is our social media. You can scan it to view it. We use this to bring awareness and show our progress to bring inspiration to others, and it's a good way to get in contact with us if you need our resources. And so thank you for listening to all of us today. Do you have any questions?
Perfect.
Valiant effort. Clearly, there's a need for STEM education, as you pointed out, and it sounds like you've got ideas on how to be an effective advocacy group. Some ideas on maybe like a business model. Could you do like a robot rental or something to maybe kids that are out there that are, at home and don't have as much access, but maybe they've got some money to spend to be part of like a rental program, and maybe you get the robot back, and there's a way for you to have some recurring revenue there, so you're not just trying to advocate for, government resources to distribute to schools. That, one idea. And then I like the idea of the website and building like the bigger brand. If you're able to aggregate already like open source resources that are out there and get access to those to schools and students, then maybe that helps buy-in too. But good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done. Website looks great. You all look great as a team, and I like to see that you shared kind of specialization across the project, and we're each able to speak to different parts of it. Were you able to do, or have you done a landscape analysis to know where there are gaps in robotics programs?
So I can speak to this a little bit. So essentially, in Eastern Kentucky, there is a marginally larger gap than if you were to look at places such as the Ohio Valley, near Louisville. So essentially, the trend is looking like the more rural you get, the harder it is to start a robotics team because of the higher impoverished rates.
Okay. And then how about the role of a facilitator of the robotics team? What would you say you might need in the local district to facilitate the team?
I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Is there any way you could restate your question?
A coach? Do you need a coach locally? Okay.
Yeah, so our coach and mentor is Dr. Rachel Rogers, and every single FTC team needs a coach, and that is part of what we do. So we actually found coaches and started talking to the principal of Wolfe County High School, and he said that he would take on that responsibility. So we do help those teams find the coaches that they need.
Okay, and I'm guessing coaches probably need some professional development. So curious if you've thought about how you might deliver that professional development, especially through your lens as students, really understanding what students need from teachers. That's an interesting way, kind of flipping the script to get to the professional development for teachers.
One of the really big things that I find really interesting about FTC is, especially within our team, Dr. Rogers is our mentor, but the program itself is very student-led. We do we've built all of this robot from the ground up, and kind of like you talked about flipping the script, students asking the teacher, hey, we need stuff from you, and the same as teachers need stuff from them, and speaking to the coaches and teaching them how to be coaches. FTC, or First Robotics, has its own links that shows coaches, helps teach people how to become a coach and what all they need to be one.
Great. I'd encourage you guys to maybe think through that one a little bit. I could see some market potential for teachers in various areas of the state that want to support a student program like this and would find it intriguing to actually get the professional development around the product and the club from students.
Yeah, and just so you guys understand how student-led this gets, Dr. Rogers is a bio major. She has no idea how to build a robot or how to code a robot or anything like that. Essentially, she is just our person that makes our connections and helps us get money for our team so that we can tell her what to get us. And then we all facilitate and put that together ourselves. So that just shows how you can be any kind of teacher with no background in robotics or engineering or anything like that and still have a very successful team like you see in front of you.
Thank you all.
I'm curious, does a robot have a name?
Shredder.
Shredder.
Funny story, we named it Shredder because whenever it was in its first stages, the wires were everywhere and it looked like a shredded mess.
Gotcha. And the next question I have is, how old were you all when you first remember getting introduced to a program such as STEM?
So I know all of us has varied. I know Jonah was since the 7th grade, and this is actually my first year doing robotics, and I got really into it and joined this team to try to share a bit more so that people can get into it a little earlier on.
So that's when you all started participating, but when did you learn of it? Like, were you a lot younger when you were aware that that program even existed for you to grow up and aspire to join it?
So I was in 5th grade when I was first introduced to robotics, introduced to FIRST Robotics through FLL. It's First Lego League. And in 5th grade, I had a teacher who came up and he was like, yo, do you want to build a robot? And I was like, yes, I want to build a robot. That's amazing. And so I started getting involved and I started going. And then back then, it wasn't a robot like this. It was, block programming. And that was when I really got into programming. That's why I'm actually the lead programmer on the team. But through FLL, when in 5th grade, we actually made it all the way to state. And that was an eye-opening experience. It was amazing. And that really got me involved. And so in 6th grade, I started in my middle school an FLL team. By then it had changed to RCX. It was like a slightly different thing, but it was the same, similar basis. And for 6th and 7th grade, I participated in that. And that was really when I realized this is something I want to do for the rest of my life. This is amazing. And then when I came to craft, because at my high school, actually, they didn't have a robotics team. They did, but it was one person. It didn't drive. They didn't have like a first team at all, nothing like that. And when I came here, which is actually the only reason I came to craft was for the robotics team, I started getting involved and I love it. And that's really how I got involved in robotics.
So I'm just thinking, just maybe tying into the FLL, on there. This is like a graduated program maybe of it to help those younger kids get excited about it, and those programs will just continue to grow with them to help expand the STEM, on that. But great job. This is exciting stuff.
Thank you.
It sounds like you guys are doing an amazing job already, and you look great, and the presentation was great, and having the robot on stage really makes an impact. So all of that is wonderful. I was involved with our high school's robotics team for about 6 years, so I can vouch for the fact that having access to you guys know this, having access to specialists, engineers, people who can build things from scratch, people who know where to find resources, people who can quickly understand the complicated rules of the competition each year is a great resource. So having her connections and making connections with other community members who have connections would be a high priority. So that would be one thing I would say. The second thing I would say would be I would suggest to grow the program that you're proposing, to gather statistics now on some of the questions that were asked and some of the questions you've already started to deal with. How many STEM programs are there? How many robotics teams are there? Pick the area that you want to consider. Which counties do you want to consider, or which schools? And collect all the data and write it all down, and then make some kind of goal and say in 1 year we're going to have this many, in 5 years we're going to have this many, and advertise it all the time and get everybody to pitch in and say, we want to help meet that goal because, heck, it's good for us. I don't even care if it's good for you guys. It's good for us. It's good for our school. It's good for our community. And how does it impact jobs and future jobs? The stuff you mentioned is so good and so appropriate. So I'm not telling you anything new. I'm just saying congratulations on doing a great job. And keep it up.
Thank you.
I think you guys did a great job presenting as well. Being a kid from rural Pike County, the only thing I knew about robots was Star Wars back when I was growing up. So I know, and I know there's still a huge need for it. So I hats off to you for reaching out with this program.
Thank
you. I would say to think about, we kind of heard a couple different nonprofit ideas today, but to even think if it is going to be a nonprofit, you got to consistently think of this as actually a value-based solution that's worth paying for. But sometimes your customer, when you're talking about getting grants, the person who's paying you may be a different person than the end user of your product. Does that make sense? So it's not going to be the school's paying you, it may be someone else. But still, you're delivering something of value. And so when you think about it as a nonprofit, it's really easy to think, oh, we got this grant to go do this, and we're just going to kind of do it. It doesn't matter if we make money or not. But that nonprofit just means you're tax exempt. It means you don't have to pay any taxes on the profit you generate. It goes back into the mission. But I would just make sure you think about what you're doing is delivering real value, and I think if I heard everything right, this is really a solution of how to bring a turnkey solution to rural schools to bring robotics and STEM training into their system. Like that is a clear pitch to me. I think that's what we said today to a principal, and how you position that of what do you need at the school level. You need a coach. You need like I would think sitting down with the principal, how do you communicate to them? What does that brochure look like? What does that communication look like? How much does that cost? And maybe have them raise the money to do it almost. Maybe you could bring resources and say, here are some grant partners. You could start a boosters club. You could do, but you bring the whole package, but help them know how to raise them so they have some skin in the game, if that makes sense. Huge proponent of STEM, excited y'all are working on it. Just keep thinking about the business side of it and how you make this thing work, because that's what's going to, you can get a grant the first time and go do something, but if you don't deliver value and have impact, like eventually it fizzles out. So you still want to be able to come back and apply for another grant or do something the next time that, if you're doing something that's making a difference, somebody will pay you to do it. That's the way
absolutely.
to think about it.
And just to speak on that a little bit, we are going to these schools, and with grants such as the first rookie grant, every single time you create a new team, they will automatically get that grant. And then we're going to show them how to approach businesses and corporations to actually get sponsorships. Our team sponsor is Matrix, owned by Joe Kraft. And they supply our uniforms as well as other expenditures. And so we want to show these teams how to effectively communicate their needs so that they can, sort of make a snowball effect with these sponsors and grants in the future. Thank you.
One question. I noticed you had a TikTok account for one of your social media channels, and I saw recently that they have a dedicated STEM feed now. I was wondering, have any students from schools that don't have a robotics class reached out to you via TikTok to learn more?
No, I don't think we've had anyone reach out to us over TikTok or any social media yet. So far, it's been us reaching out to areas that we find to have no robotics team or are more impoverished than others. But right now, our social media is sort of acting as like a booster so that people can see that and see the potential of what they can do with themselves.
And, that might become another revenue stream for you in the future if you get eyeballs. Like, clearly TikTok's promoting it, so, good efforts there, I think.
Thank you.
Well, I've got one. Do y'all compete in the Challenger Center program?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's the same program.
Yeah, it's the same program. And Wolf County actually did get part of their resources from the Challenger Center. I know they got a real fancy 3D printer. It was a piece of eye candy for me. I specialize in 3D printing on our team. So anything 3D printed on this robot, me and a few other people made. And, but yeah, they got a nice 3D printer from the Challenger Center. So we do plan on using the Challenger Center as like one of our resources that we encourage teams to reach out to.
They were having a competition tomorrow next
We have a competition tomorrow as well. Yeah.
Good luck.
Busy weekend. Thank you. Thank you.
My heart.